Good morning. Welcome to Saturday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. For whatever reason, it feels very early today. I think because it's so bloody dark out there yet. So, Saturday. We are to Saturday. What will you do with this one fine Saturday that you find yourself in? Let's make some good choices, right? I will be at the rummage sale. It's my day. Yesterday was my sister's day. Today is my day. We'll see what kinds of things we can bless on their way to new people. Hopefully lots. So if you're in the Appleton area, check Craigslist, check Facebook. It's on my Facebook page. Love to have you. So today we have Tosha Silver, Outrageous Openness, Letting the Divine Take the Lead. And this is timely because I was thinking as I was getting ready to pick a card deck. Good morning, Cindy. Welcome. You're the first one here today. Glad you're here. I was thinking as I was looking to pick a card deck, want some moving words. Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome. Want some words that people can hold to their hearts and do something with on this fine Saturday. So I think these words are quite sufficient in that regard. I could just feel the energy as I was running my thumb along the edge of the book and then opening to, I could feel the energy of these words. So let's start with breath, as always. In through the nose, out through the mouth. I love that first breath where you can just feel everything beginning to let go. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And if you don't yet feel that, keep practicing. Keep practicing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, good morning. And if you can create some kind of ritual around the breath, all the better. So if you sit up a little straighter, if you open your hands to receive, whatever you will do, put your hands over your heart, whatever you will do, that's part of the ritual. Good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. That reminds your whole mind, body, spirit system, okay, it's now time to relax. Good morning, Peggy. Welcome. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And why is relaxing so important? Our bodies need to let go of all that tension. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome. When we're on that chronic fight or flight, buzzed up, when's the next shoe gonna drop energy level, so not good for our bodies. So not good for our bodies, right? So taking time periodically throughout the day to take a nice deep breath will do wonders for your body. Wonders for your body. So this chapter will also do wonders for your body and your mind and your spirit. So for those of you who have the book, Tosha Silver, we are on page 136, and the chapter is called Say What You Mean. Good morning, Janine. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Say what you mean. And I was actually noticing the last several days how many people around me do not speak up. They'll triangulation everywhere. They won't talk to the person they have an issue with. They'll go talk to someone else, making a triangle. And then oftentimes that person will go back to the first person and say, blah, blah, blah. No. Build up the courage to be direct and have a conversation. Hey, I'm a little irritated right now. Can we have a conversation? Can we talk? Just taking the time to put it out there. Just taking the time, and we'll see in this reading how to say it. That's another reason why, if you were one of the people who did not get the other book that we've spent a significant amount of time on, Taking the War Out of Our Words, The Art of Powerful Non-Defensive Communication by Sharon Ellison. If you did not take the time to get a copy for yourself, please do so. Why? Because in here she puts vignette after vignette after vignette. Words, the words you can say, and modify them to make them your own. Yes, you might not be the kind of person who would say, hey, I'm irritated with you. You might be more inclined to say, I'm mad, or there's something I have to talk to you about, or whatever you would say. Good morning, Abigail. Welcome. But taking the time to actually say it. And if you're not brave enough to say it face to face yet, do not text it. Do not text it. You can either do a phone call, or you can just leave a note, send a letter, something. Hey, I have an issue. Can we have a conversation? Leave the note. Then that person approaches you when they approach you. Are there some people who are highly avoidant? Yes, you might be one of them. But this is so worth your effort. So worth your effort. So, the chapter's entitled, Say What You Mean. The quote is, in a room where people unanimously maintain a conspiracy of silence, one word of truth sounds like a pistol shot. And that's from Czesław Milosz. Polish, maybe? Maybe? I'm not sure. Anywho, the point is, and how many groups of people right now are you seeing that conspiracy of silence? We're not going to talk about what's going on around here. We're going to pretend like everything's just fine. It's not just fine, and it's not wise to not speak up. Yes, I know in some of those groups, to speak up means you're expelled from the group. Perhaps that would be a healthy thing. Just saying. So, get into our chapter. And I'm acknowledging this first part may not be astrologically relevant right now because the book was written 10 years ago. But I think when you hear the content of it, you'll go, oh yeah, it fits. It still fits for 2024. Okay. 4 ages, or yugas, Y-U-G-A-S, cycle eternally through the Indian calendar. Right now we're in the final and most corrupt, the Kali Yuga, K-A-L-I, ruled by that much maligned and misunderstood goddess of death and transformation. Kali energy, Kali is a goddess, and Kali's energy is destroying in order to create. Sometimes you have to get rid of what is not working to the point that it cannot return that way. It cannot continue on, and something new is then created. That's the Kali energy. And obviously that would be an upsetting energy to have things destroyed. So an earthquake happens and a bunch of cities get demolished. But what arises out of them is better. I remember being in Seattle, and Jody and I went on a tour, and the tour was of the underground that's present in Seattle. There's all of these underground spaces. How they came to be was there was, I believe that was an earthquake, yes, and destroyed a bunch of stuff, and everybody was told that that whole area had tons of issues with raw sewage backing up, and just it wasn't laid out well. And so once the earthquake went through and destroyed everything, Kali energy, the city leaders asked people, wait to rebuild. We want to raise the level of everything so that we don't have this sewage problem anymore. Some didn't wait, and they went ahead and built. And then when the city did raise the roads and stuff, all of that stuff ended up being subterranean. Just interesting how people think, what people do. Yeah, one of those. Anywho, I digress. So, the Kali energy, the goddess of death and transformations. The scriptures said that in this time, few people's words would match their actions. Few people's words would match their actions. Or rather, people will lie a lot to each other and often to themselves. So it's supremely powerful in this time to make our word be good, to do what we say and to say what we mean. So I like that phrase, make our word be good. Make our word be good. And by that, it doesn't mean telling people what they want to hear. It means speaking truth, especially speaking truth to power, and speaking truth to those we love the best in a kind and loving way, but nonetheless speaking our truth. So she shares a couple little stories here to make the point. A charismatic guy named Greg called me once for a reading. He was committed to 2 different women in Denver where he lived and eager for each to think she was the one. Listen, he told me, I've got the perfect deal right now that I absolutely cannot blow. One woman was intellectual and inspiring, the other was, well, just hot. He didn't want to risk losing either one. But the chaos and deception, good morning, Cheryl, the chaos and deception exhausted him completely. And after months of juggling, the 2 collided anyway. Greg admitted, then both women eventually kicked my lion butt to the curb. Hopefully, someone has enough self-respect to do that. I explained how invoking divine order makes it so much easier to just tell the truth. He could say, the perfect partner is already picked. She'll arrive in the right time and the right way. Whoever's right is already selected and will come. So think about that in terms of other things. The job you want, the house you want, the career you want, the faith community you want, the hobbies you want, all that stuff. Divine right timing, divine right order. Our job is to be open and call it in. Receive. He didn't need to lie and manipulate from fear of loss. What was meant for him would happen. Greg sent an email, to say that he'd been diligently calling this vibration into his personal life ever since we spoke. He was finally happily dating someone with the best qualities of both women who had fled. Here's another story. Mara, another client, told me her relationship had been over for years, but insisted that she could never hurt her boyfriend with the truth. She was sure he could never handle it. But I told her that often it's just the opposite. By staying in a union she knows is over, she hobbles her partner from moving on. She actually prevents him from meeting someone who might be right, and also the same for herself, not allowing that opportunity. Though many of us have done this, not leave a relationship because we're sure we don't want to hurt the other person, it's a strange kind of condescension. No kidding. It's like saying, I don't think you can handle it if I leave you. So much better to pray for the courage to speak the truth with as much love, kindness, and clarity as possible. People are often eventually grateful to have acknowledgement of what deep in their hearts they already actually knew. So, think about this in your life. Where are the places that you're not saying things that need to be said? And what might be some ways to say them that would be kind and loving? When you don't speak up, what typically happens, I call it constrain, explode. You get to that point where the straw breaks the camel's back and a bunch of vitriol spews out of your mouth, and then you feel bad, and you may have damaged that relationship significantly. As opposed to, I always tell clients, err on the side of feeling petty. So when it's just a little deal, hey honey, can we have a conversation about the toothpaste? It's toothpaste all over the sink, cap gets left off. I know it doesn't really matter to you, but it bothers me. I would love it if you would clean up after yourself with the toothpaste and put the cap back on. Thanks so much. Love ya. Put it out there. It may be a little thing, but how many divorces happen over something seemingly stupid like that? But it is death by 1,000 paper cuts. So speak up. And now this doesn't mean you've been married 32 years and you're going to go unload on your partner because Bonnie said so. It means the next time something happens, you bring it up and you talk about it. Hey, can we talk about this? And again, a la Sharon Ellison, as neutral as you can be about it, the better off you're going to be. I also discovered with my now ex-husband that if I said, can we have a conversation, that instantly set off his warning bells. So it was much better if we were driving in the car and I'd say, remember blah, 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 blah. And then I'd say whatever I needed to say about that. Nothing about talking, nothing about conversation, none of that stuff. Finding the way to work with the person you're with. How do you do this stuff? And most of us know really well what doesn't work with our partners, right? Or our kids, or whoever, our parents, etc. If my father were a young child, I would diagnose him oppositional defiant disorder. You tell him would be best not to do that, absolutely he's going to do it. Absolutely. So one has to figure out, how do you work with this stuff? How do you work with what is? How do you, again, in certain circumstances, it's speaking truth to power. So perhaps it's your boss who is just not operating on a high plane. How do you work with that? How do you deal with that? And again, the Sharon Ellison book has so many examples of the words to use and how to use them. The main feature being, you do it as calmly as possible. So therefore, oftentimes it may mean bringing it up way after the fact. You know, I'm remembering from a couple of months ago, blah, 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 and I just want to say, yada, yada. Finding your words. Maybe it's having a 3x5 card with you on which you write stuff down. Is it terrible if you were to have to whip that 3x5 card out and look at, how did I write this up in advance? No. Hopefully whoever the person is can see you're putting effort into trying to communicate effectively. That's important. So yesterday when my sister and I had a falling out, it was hot, it was miserable, she was snarky, it was just, yeah. After the fact, addressing it in as calm and direct a manner as possible. Does it always go well? No, but then you're done with it. You can kind of be done with it. Well, if it's not well received, I can at least say, well, I at least tried. Good enough, that's where we're at. How do you do this stuff? It's so easy to say, well, I'll just let it go. They're just having a bad day, whatever. But somewhere in there, it might be useful to say, do you feel like that's an okay thing to say to me? Given where we're at right here, right now, does that feel like an acceptable thing to say to me? In that inquiring tone, not with an edge. And yes, that's hard. That is hard, but practice, okay? Play it out in your mind's eye over and over and over again until you feel like, okay, I think I can say it neutrally, and then do it. You know, I was thinking back about what you said earlier today, and put it out there. In the short run, is this likely to be fun? No. In the long run, is this likely to have a tremendous amount of value? Yes. I'll give you another example. If it's something like someone who tells sexist jokes around you, someone who is incredibly racist and it's evident in things they say about other people, blah, blah, blah. To call someone a name, sexist, racist, whatever, just puts them on guard. But if you come from the perspective of, you know, I'm uncomfortable when you say things like that. It doesn't sit well with me when you say things like that. And oftentimes what you'll get back is, well, I was just joking. Don't let it go at that. I understand you think you were joking, but it hurts my soul when you talk like that. Put it out there. What's the worst thing that can happen? You might get fired. Fabulous. You collect your unemployment, you can go to HR, whatever you need to do. And I know so many people feel like, I can't afford to risk that. Can you afford, however much longer your work life is, to live with things that wound your soul? Can you? All of this stuff has such a cost to it. Yes, it's more of a hidden cost, but it's a cost nonetheless. I'm not willing to go there. So, thus, the reason I addressed the issue yesterday. And did I manage it without the angst in my voice? Nah, I don't think I did so good on that part. But I did put it out there. and that was useful for further conversation. We just got to practice. We just got to practice, practice, practice. So, again, I'd like you to think today, where are my opportunities for doing this stuff? Does that mean you have to go out and do them all? No. Pick one, or practice with a recent thing that you know is likely to repeat, because some people it's over and over and over again, right? Practice. How would I like to address this? What would I like to say? What would be in my highest and best good and their highest and best good? Again, it ain't name calling, but if you speak to, when this happened, I felt because, and if that person, oh, you're so sensitive, point that out also. It's really hard for me when you dismiss what I'm saying as oversensitivity. I'm telling you how I feel. I hope our relationship is strong enough that you can hear what I'm saying. Yes, not fun. Well worth the effort. So let's see where we go with this thing. The Say What You Mean chapter. In a room where people unanimously maintain a conspiracy of silence, one word of truth sounds like a pistol shot. Be willing to speak that word of truth. Have an awesome Saturday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.